What's going on, everybody? We're going through days 4 and 5, the ninth and the 10th of the updates, previews for Vendetta. Exciting set, exciting to see what's going on. We're going to start with body, work our way down through each of the domains, and then go into like legends and any battlefields that were shown, and special cards, special alts, stuff like that. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. My name is Rich. Welcome here. Subscribe for more Riftbound information and news and stuff, and let's jump into it. First, we're going to start off with the body domain, looking at the corrupted dragon. If your score is not within 3 points of the victory score, I enter ready. When I attack, you may move any number of enemy units here, each with 5 might or less to its base. This is a 10 and 2 power. This is going to go great in the Volibear Dragon deck. Still the best ramp deck out there. Ramp legend is Volibear. People are probably going to make some other dragon decks, I'm sure. I like playing with Lucian as well. Lucian Dragons is good. But Volibear really saves you that energy. With this said, this one, we all know how Volibear and decks like that move a bit slower. This is going to allow you to get in and do some attacks a lot earlier. And it's pretty cool that it moves things back as well. Except for if somebody's playing, nobody plays it anymore, the Minotaur. Everybody hated it and then everybody stopped playing it. So I think that card needs to come back, to be real. But this one allows you to move cards back. It's 10, 2 power, and 10 might. Pretty strong card. Moving on to our next one, we have Gangplank. Everybody's talking about this one. This is a 6/6, another good card. I think that'll be good in Volibear. Even though it has the 2 power Empower Me, probably be time to use those seals for some of these empowerment things, because you don't want to keep using power unless you're going into the Renekton deck, which you don't want to have that many runes available. And it's also should be good in Sivir, because Sivir require every time you spend a rune, you'll get gold. So it's going to actually be good with some gold economy in that way. But Empowered, if your spell or ability that chooses me would stun me, give me minus might, or return me to hand, give me +3 instead. So that is pretty solid, because people are already talking about in the blue decks how you can do like retreat on it, or channel a rune and give him +3 might, or stupefy, +3 might, draw a card. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the blue-orange combination. He's going in. He's also going to be a nice easy ramp in with Volibear if people still want to play that. And again, gold generation for Sivir. Good stuff. Let's go into the next one. We have the Hextech Disc. Jace is a very gear-driven legend. So this one, you empower it by tapping, and then you disempower it by just removing the empowerment token, I guess. Pay 1, and then you tap it, and you play a 3 might mech unit token to your base. It seems like it'd be something good that would be in Rumble. Apparently they just made Rumble and just forgot all about them, because a lot of these things are coming in with other colors now. But this is going to be in the blue-orange. You still do have the blue robots and the blue Rumble bot that you can use in it if you want to deal with robot decks. There's also some other token cards that will in blue that increases your tokens might and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Noxin Demolitionist. When I conquer, you may kill a gear with energy, cost no more than my might. This is 2. This is of course going to want you to have some equipment attached to it. A lot of these gears are going to cost 2, or of course even higher than that. You know, we have 7, we have 10, we have 9, but a lot of gears cost 2 for the most part, 2 to 3. So you want to have some kind of gear attached to this before you start trying to conquer. To do any real damage, of course, 1 is satisfied for some of the Azir stuff too. But if you put her in like Fiora, you can do a little ramp with that, and you'll be able to conquer and get some stuff done at the same time. Next we have Rampage. This is kind of like a challenge without the power cost, unless you decide to pay the power cost. So as you play this, you may pay a body power as an additional cost. Choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. If you pay the additional cost, give the friendly unit +2 this turn. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. So this can be, defied, unfortunately, but it's still a good card as far as I think it's kind of protecting yourself from some of the units. You know, if you have a unit that you are matching might with, or something that you might not be able to reach up to, this will help you close that gap and do some damage that way. And then if you're playing it in like set or something, you can just save the unit that died. There's a unit that's going to die from that. But yeah, good stuff. Tools of the Empire. This is a 4 cost gear. Empower 2. This costs 2 energy to empower this. And then you tap it, you can give a unit +2. But if it's empowered, you can give that unit +4. I think for 2 energy, that's pretty solid. It doesn't come in rested, so you can use it right away if you're at a higher level. Most likely you probably use it on your next turn, but that's going to be really good. I think it will put that I might run that in XPE. You're already dealing with a lot of big might units in this deck but just to make it that much higher is kind of crazy. So we'll have to see how that goes. Two of like one of these, maybe two of the jungle fruits. Jungle fruits give you power when you reach a certain level. So you just tap that, and then your 12 Yi would be like 12, will be like 16. It's insane. That's a lot of steps, I know. I do weird stuff like that. On to the next one. That was the last for our body. We'll jump into the next. We're gonna jump into our next one, which is going to be the Calm. This is kind of crazy here. This is an Akali. It's our first one that we're looking at here. So it's a 1 power, 4 might. Can't be chosen by enemy spells and abilities unless I'm in combat. When I move to a battlefield, give me +2 might this turn. This is solid. This is your small camel chilling in the background. Unless they're in combat, then they can do stuff. But most likely you're not really messing with decks that have the ability to do things like that in combat. People don't normally do challenges in combat. You can do a challenge thing, but when you move into a battlefield, there's only +2 might, so maybe not be able to challenge it. And you do have to kind of worry about, I guess, some of these other cards that are coming out. Like, we still don't know what the yellow decree is and stuff like that. But plus, becoming a 4/6 and not being able to be chosen by enemy spells and abilities unless it's in combat is pretty crazy. So purple, we can see purple greens doing this. Of course, there's some orange green decks that we'll see running it, and then the Kali deck, of course, is going to be running it. But yeah, this is good stuff, because it's only for the turn, so you don't really want to do it in like yellow green, because right now that's kind of focused on tanks and stuns and stuff, so you would lose the value there. But jumping into attack and stuff, it's really solid. Going into the next one, we have her alt art. This is probably going to look way cooler, because right now, in my opinion, the original one looks better, but I feel like there's going to be like a certain glow here in the white that we just can't see, and shine in this silver part that we just can't see in this picture. But this is going to be, they're both going to be solid. Gotta have all the Akali cards. This is going to be Steamed Hierophant 5/5. While you control 7 or more runes, prevent all damage that enemy spells and abilities would deal to me. So this is your another camel. This one is going to be in, I mean, you can use it in other decks as well, but I think it'll probably be used the most in people that are running that dog dude, Nasus. So it'll probably run there, and it's a solid card. It does have a condition to get to that camel state, but I think it's still pretty solid. As long as you have 7 runes, don't spend any runes, and you're good. When you play me, give a unit +3 this turn. Another good unit for buffing 4/3. Pretty good. Field Musicians 3 isn't really that strong, but it's giving something +3. And I'm guessing that could be itself. So it could come in decks that allow it to come in ready. It could come in ready as a 4/6, which is kind of insane. I didn't say give another unit that. So it's kind of similar to, it's like a little mini, dragon, that green dragon that people used to play, White Flame, back in the day. That nobody plays now. Now we have Mournful Witness to give a combat, when a combat that I was in ends, empower me. I become empowered if I'm not already. Empowered, I have +2. So you can go in, maybe you can attack a little small unit. Maybe you can do, buffer up, go in, draw a card, and then she'll just have +2 the entire time after that. So if you can protect her for that first moment, keep her alive, she'll become a 2/4. That's pretty solid. That's pretty strong. Still Pause. This is a 1/0 might. Has deflect, but also has a 7 in power cost. And if you empower it, it has +7. I think this is a really good card. I'm waiting to see if there's any gear that's going to empower other cards, like other units and stuff, when you play it. I don't think we've seen those yet. So there are battlefields that lower the empowerment cost, but only lowers it by like 1. So it'll be 6. That does kind of take a lot of your turn away. So I think that we'll be able to use this though. Like, I know it's going to be probably used in Nasus, because his ability is, when you empower something, use an ability that's 7 or more, play a unit that's 7 or more, you ready 2 runes. You'll at least have 2 runes to do other things with, which is generally enough in the blue colors, because you have like Stupefy, Defy, Discipline, stuff like that. So you should be pretty good, but I'm really curious to see what we'll be able to do with that. Because if you play the other card too, the Field Musicians, this becomes a 10. If you're like at 10 runes, you play that, play Field Musicians. This is now a 1 cost 10 might unit going in swinging. That's going to be it for Calm. Next, we're looking at the chaos stuff. Now, this is when we start getting really interesting here with the Decree of Discord. Return any number of enemy order units with total might 5 or less to their owner's hands. People are already thinking about playing this with the Thousand Tail Watcher minusing the board by 3. If you play a Thousand Tail Watcher on a battlefield and you have that card that was hidden that replays, that banishes a card, you can unhide that, play it again, minus it by another 3, and now you're like getting rid of the whole board for 8 and 2 power, and all your units are staying. So it's not even like a complete board wipe. Like if you have like multiple units or anything like that, you can do that. That's pretty crazy. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how these Discord cards work into the mix. It's definitely going to be conditional. I wonder if they're going to actually increase the size of our sideboard though because of that, because now we're really limiting what we can have in there, because these are just going to be for a particular matchups, right? You're not going to always go against a yellow, or you're not going to always go against blue, or whatever the opposite colors of whatever you're playing is. So you do get to have 2 of these. You get to have a Decree of Discord and a Decree of Fury for playing red purple in the sideboard, and use as you need. Maybe it'll just be like a 1-up index, but these decrees are pretty cool. Next we have Gust Monk. You may pay 1 as an additional cost to play me, so it would cost 3. When you play me, if you pay the additional cost, banish a card from any trash to give a unit assault 2 this turn, +2 while it's an attacker. It's definitely going to be a card you play first unless you really need to. But then I guess you can also bounce it back to your hand with certain battlefields or certain legends. So you can do that. Assault 2 is pretty crazy as well. You're playing in orange purple, you can do Here to Help, play it, pay the additional cost, and I think it covers the additional cost too with that, with Here to Help. You may play a unit from your hand to a battlefield you control, reducing its cost by 3. So yeah, if you're doing orange purple, Here to Help, play Gust Monk, when you go into attack something, play Gust Monk onto the battlefield, and then get something else +2, banishing the card from a trash. That's crazy. That's kind of a crazy combo. Next we have, I don't know how I say that, Alawi. When you play me or when I score, play a 1 might tentacle unit token from Bilgewater. I have +1 might for each token you control. This is kind of crazy. I don't know if she's gonna get her whole deck, but there's some orange purple Bilgewater cards that have jumped in aside from Pike and stuff. And I definitely want to hop on to the Misfortune, and I still want to build like a pirate deck out of that. And this is gonna be one of those things that's like, it's kind of cool. I don't know if there's going to be any other ways to get tentacles. I'm guessing if she comes in as a champion, she'll be making tentacles all over the place, but we'll have to see. But this, I think that's kind of crazy. Sometimes you don't even have to like use your tentacles. You can just keep them in the back and just have some tentacles. I learned today that the Krakens from the ships back in the day, people thought they were Krakens, but they were actually just like whale penises. But we'll go to the next card. Is Mel 5/4. Discard a spell, play the cost, empower me. Use only if not empowered. When I become empowered, banish an enemy unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less. There's the other card I was talking about on Twitter, talking about how people want to call it is, it is Aspiring Engineer. So Aspiring Engineer allows you to grab a gear from trash. I think there's a card that allows you to grab a spell from trash. Oh, it's purple Annie. So you can discard a spell and you get the spell back with Annie if you wanted to. When you do that, you just banish an enemy unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less. This is going to be an early play turn, so she'll probably be in the champion zone because most units have that, and it has to be at a battlefield. So I think this will be an early play. Maybe somebody have to not so fast to be prepared for that, but I don't really see that happening. This is her alt art. Her alt art is pretty cool. Unless she has a cigarette in her mouth, and not in her mouth, in her hand. But other than that, I think the alt art is good looking. It's good looking alt art. And that's it for our chaos. Now we're jumping into Fury. This is the Eclipse Dragon. Has accelerate to 8/8 with the 9 and 1 power accelerate. When I move, if you control 4 or fewer runes, draw 1. This is kind of crazy. This is going to be something that seems to be for your boy Renekton. Anything that says like 4 or fewer runes, because if you're playing this in Bollyberry, you're not going to have 4 or fewer runes because you're ramping. So it'll be kind of hard to do that. When you play them, you're not going to be at 3. And you're not going to be able to play them then. So here, this is definitely a Renekton card, and in my mind too, I'm thinking of like a Renekton dragon deck where you have like like Lizard Squad, the Lizard King, Reptilian Overlords, I think I was calling it, because you can play those cards out so early and it doesn't matter. You'll just have those 4 runes, and you really only need 4 runes because once you get the heralds out, and then it's a matter if there's any cards they'll play some cards from trash, unless you get cards back from trash in red and orange. But it seems to be I'm like a red-orange player. We'll see how that works. This is the Morgana Vindictive. 5 in a power, 5 might. When you play me, deal damage to a unit equal to the damage marked on it. This one you already have damage on the card, which is kind of interesting. Probably for like a Kaisa type deck, if she are cards that can do damage with some small numbers early, like deal 1 to enemies on the battlefield, then you do another 1. There's also the other Katarina card where if you flip a card over, it deals 2 damage to an enemy other unit, so you can do that and try to do some damage then. It's also ambush, so you can probably do some damage that way, jump in. So it's kind of crazy because it already has to have damage marked on it, but it might be able to do something. It's kind of expensive when you think about cards around it. 4/4 Oasis Raider. If you control fewer runes than an opponent at the start of your beginning phase, give me +2 and ganking this turn. I can move from battlefield to battlefield. A simple mistake is actually more closely rated to. So this is another card that we'll see in Renekton. We see this 4 cost, 4 might, 4 runes. You'll always have less runes than your opponent. In that case, most likely if you're empowering things, you'll have less runes than your opponent. So that +2 at the beginning phase is pretty huge. And it's not even a win you, it's an if you, so I don't know if that could be reacted to. Maybe. The Rage Amplifier costs 4 might, power at 6 might. Use only if not empowered. Your units have +1. If I'm empowered, they have +2 instead. This is not as good as the other one. I mean, I guess I don't know if you would play. So if you're playing red, orange, you definitely wouldn't have this one. I don't know when this one was going to come in handy. Shadow Assassin, 5 and 5 might. I enter ready if you have a card with my name in your trash. So I just want you to have multiple names, multiple of these cards in it already. Another good Volibear card for ramping. 5 and 5. 5 is that magic number you want. So if you have another 5 cost that comes in ready and solid. Most of my mind, I have an idea of like a mid-range Volibear deck I have not put together yet, but this will be one of those cards that would definitely slide in pretty good. Try to get it out early, get it in the trash, and find more of them. That's going to be it for our Fury. We're going to move on to the next. Trying to go through this pretty quick. Right now we're in our Mind category. So this is a Bottle Constellation. It's 10 and 2 power. I'm not really sure where this is going to fit in at. It's at the start of your main phase. You may kill 3 other friendly units and or gear to score a point. So I guess you have like a lot of small gear, a lot of small gold. You can cure gold and score a point that way. You can just do it kind of like once at the start of your main phase, so you can't just like farm points here, but still 10 and 2 power, and it's a gear, so it'll just stay on the board. It's kind of crazy. I guess you can fill up your back line with stuff. It seems really good to be like in yellow, where you can build up a lot of small units. Right now, the only one we see that can do that in orange and blue is having that one card. What's the name of that card? Shoot. Oh, the one that gives you the might. So yeah. Going on to the next one. The one that gives you mech units. We have Nasus, Guardian of Knowledge. Once each turn, when an enemy unit here dies, channel 1 rune exhausted. It's pretty solid. Too bad it's in blue. It'd be a nice card to see in orange or something like that. But it's definitely going to be a champion unit, I think, that you play in your champion zone. Either that one or the higher cost one. I will have to see which one actually works better. But we need to see more stuff for him. When we see his legends, you'll understand why I said that. This is his unit. I'm starting to see this a lot. I've been playing some TFT, and this is the one that pops up for TFT. So, discard a gear 1 and excite tap. Deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield. This is the Skycruiser unit puts over. This is 4 and a might. And 4 and 3 might. 4 and a power, 3 might. This one could be good with the one card. We were talking about Morgana, I think, in Fury. I believe that was her name. So you can do 4 to damage. And then ambush in with her and deal 4 more to something. So I guess it would work with this card a little bit. Then we have 2 Might Temporal Breach. This is the card I'm talking about. You can hide it and then replay it and play the Thousand Tail Watcher again. It says banish a unit, then its owner plays at the same location, ignoring its cost. It's like the rescue card that they have that nobody uses. That's pretty good. And that's going to be it for our mind cards. The one that you rescue is Portal Rescue. So for our mind cards, we're looking at our control cards. We're looking at Glowstone as the first one. This is a 2-cost gear. Empower me with 2 runes. Use only if not empowered. Disempower this. Tap it. Choose a player. They gain control of this and recall it. At the end of your turn, kill this and deal 5 to all units you control. So it says at the end of your turn, that's when you have it. So it doesn't matter if it's empowered or not empowered, it seems like. If you play it on your turn, at the end of your turn, you're going to kill this and deal 5 to all units you control. So as soon as you play this, you need to pass this along. And you have to disempower it, which means you have to empower it. So it's going to be one of those, they call it hot potato. It's going to be one of those games where you're playing the rune game. Either somebody's going to say, okay, I'll take my things, or one of you guys are going to run out of runes. You're going to have to really decide when's going to be the best time to use this. It's going to be kind of crazy. You could, if it ends up on you, you could just have 1 rune up and do the unyielding and then nothing dies on your side. But that is kind of crazy. You just play it to make them spend some runes and then you unyielding spirit and then none of your stuff dies. That'd be kind of evil. Good stuff. And while you're doing it, you're just playing fields to your backfield, playing units to your backfield, and you just keep passing it to them, and they keep spinning runes to pass it back because they don't really want it, but it might be slowing them down, but it's not really slowing you down. Yeah, that sounds like good times. This we have 6 and a 6, Horns of the Dragon. It's a tank. I must be assigned combat damage first. Don't mess with me, you know what you get. This is gonna go in your Shin deck. I'm pretty sure it's a tank. It's a 6/6. So there's also that card that Shin has, Key, the Key card, where it takes 7 damage, so it could be like a 13. It's kind of strong, pretty good. Anything with no power to me is great. 5 in a power and 5 cost. I cost 2 might less if you control 2 in a power less if you control the battlefield with exactly 2 units there. This is another good card because all you really need to do is play some small cards. You have them on the board. You can play this like turn 3, so it's pretty solid. Like without spending any runes, and then play something else. You can do a lot of setup with that. These have to be on a battlefield, but I think this is a pretty strong card because it doesn't even cost the power anymore. It just costs 3, so it becomes a 3/5, which is nice. And then but next we have the Kennen, Keeper of Balance. This is his alt art and his regular art. So his regular art here on the right, and then his alt art is the space with the meeple. When you play me or attack, you may pay 2 might 2 to stun a unit. When there's a stun enemy unit here, I have +2 might. So the downside of this is that you have to pay the 2 to stun a unit instead of just coming in and attacking and stunning. I guess then it'll be too powerful because it's like a 3/4 at that case. But we see what's her name with ambush all the time, coming in stunning people when they attack. So I think it's kind of not fair that you have to pay 2, but again, he is the Keeper of Balance, and I guess you paying 2 does add some balance to that. I pay 2, I get 2, so there's the balance in that little mechanic. And then we have Lacerate. Just choose a unit. If it's empowered, disempower it, then kill it if it has 3 might or less. And then you can play this from trash for 4 and 2 power. You may play this from your trash and then banish it. So this is kind of crazy because of the fact that it has to be 3 might or less, but it also disempowers something, and it's a reflexive, I believe that's what it was called, trigger. So it's not like then do this, but it says then kill it. So you disempower it and then kill it if you have 3 or might less. I wonder if it's going to get the errata treatment where it says then do this. So this is 4 in a power, 3 might. When you play another unit, give me +2 this turn. This is another solid card. It's technically a 4 or 5. Anytime you play a card, it jumps up. It can go good in Fiora decks because you play it and then the next turn you play another unit and it'll jump up to 4 or 5, which is solid. And you'll get the rune back from playing it last turn, so you get a little ramp off of it. I don't know if it'll be played in anything else, but I think it's a good solid Fiora tech card. Sacred Protector here. We have, I don't deal combat damage unless I'm at a battlefield with exactly one other unit you control. This is kind of a dangerous card. It's pretty strong as a 4 and 1 power and a 6, but at the same time, if somebody removes your other battlefield, your other unit using like Starcrossed, or they just kill it or something like that, then you're not really doing any damage. So it's kind of difficult for this to be there alone. I guess you could buff it up a little bit so it could take, like I was saying, with the key card, the 7 extra damage, or you can stun the unit coming in attacking. It is in yellow, and it's most likely a yellow and green that you want to play it in, but it just seems like a very card that leaves itself vulnerable. You could also ambush in some things too, so we'll have to see how that works. But that's going to be it for the order cards, and then we'll jump in and see what the legends are that got shown. So we got quite a few legends and stuff that were shown, as there's really like a lot of thirsty stuff happening here with these legends. Like, this is the legend of hotness, apparently. The Vendetta is hot. So here we got Akali Assassin, Rogue Assassin, Empower 3 and Empower. Action, you tap it. If it's your turn, move a friendly unit in a showdown to a base, and if it's Empower, you can ready it. So you'll be able to attack, move something back, and then ready it to attack something else. That's kind of solid. If you're using green, not Yasuo in there, it attacks, does 6 damage to a unit, might kill it, 6 damage. And then you can move it back and ready it, and then go back in. That's kind of crazy. And then if you're playing the one, well, that's in purple, so you won't be able to do that here. You won't be able to do the three move one here and get the point. That would be kind of cool, because you'd be able to do that, play the one card that readies it, and then move it back in. So there's a green card that will ready your legend. So I guess you could do that though still, and just come back again and do it again like 3 times. All right, we have Matriarch of War. When you empower something else, empower me, disempower me, you pay a power, and then you tap to ready a unit. That's pretty solid, because this deck is all about empowering. Like I said, we need to see if there's any other way to empower something. I think that one gear that when you tap, it'll give something 2 power, and it only costs 2 to empower, is a good way to do it. The only problem is it costs a rune. So if you're making gold somewhere along the way, this will be pretty solid. You don't really want to waste runes like that, but being able to instantly ready a unit and send it in is pretty strong, especially when you have units like, because she like pretty much works directly with her own champion, which when she's empowered, she just goes in and kills something. So you'll be able to empower her and then play another power, disempower this, tap it, ready her, and then send her in to kill whatever. That's kind of crazy. Then we have Defender of Tomorrow, Empower 2, of 2 power, empower me, use only if not empowered. So when it's not empowered, you can pay 1, tap, ready to gear. If it's empowered, you pay 1, tap 2, or tap and ready 2 gear. So you know there's a lot of gear you have to tap to do something with. This one's going to allow you to untap that gear and do it again, which is increasing power. So that one card where you tap gets something 4 power, untap it, tap it again, give something 4 more power, or 2 more power, instead of just if you didn't want to empower that gear. So you can give something 6 power, 6 might. All right, so this is Mel's Soul Reflection. When you empower something else, empower me, disempower me, tap, give a unit at battlefield -2 this turn. What's pretty interesting is that she has the same kind of thing as her mom. When you empower something else, empower me. So it's called Soul Reflection, right? But she gives something -2 instead of readying something. It'd be kind of interesting if she was like rest something, but I guess it doesn't really matter. They probably thought about it, but it doesn't really matter in this game if something is rested or unrested. Like if it was a character had to be rested before you can attack it, then we'll probably say rest, but it doesn't. But that's why people were saying like she was kind of weak. But I think -2 is pretty strong. Like you were minusing 2 and then you do something else and you minus even more. It's mostly more of an attack type thing. But she does have a crazy signature spell that has everybody kind of thinking like, oh, I want to play her now or try her out. This is 1 in a power reaction. Choose a spell with energy cost no more than 4. You may pay a power. If you do, gain control of it, and you make new choices for it. Otherwise, counter it. So one thing's crazy about this is like 1 in a power, but it's counterable, right? But if you have her blue character out that's empowered and it's just on the back line, none of your spells can get countered. So this would never get countered, and you can just counter everybody else's spells, which is insane. Next we have Nasus, Curator of Sands. When you play a unit, gear activated ability with energy cost 7 or more, you may exhaust me to ready up to 2 runes. Right now we just know that there's 2 gear that cost more than 7. One is the bottle that we saw earlier, and the other one is Dazzling Aurora. There's not really any other gear, I don't believe, that costs 7. The shards cost like 6, but you can't play that in this color. So I'm pretty curious if we're gonna have more gear that cost 7. We know there's a couple of activated abilities. We have the cat, and we have his card that is 8. So we have 2 units that have activated abilities that cost 7 or more, and then we have 2 gear that's 7 or more. So hopefully we get more than that to play around with. And it doesn't necessarily have to pay. You don't have to necessarily pay 7 or more to play it. It has to cost 7 or more. So if there's anything that can cheat out units, that'll be good as well. But at least you'll be able to ready 2 rooms and be able to use your other spells and disciplines and stuff like that. And then we have this pose here when you play a unit, for his alt art, Pit in the Air, Flexing. This is his signature spell, Siphoning Strike. Deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield. If you control 7 or more rooms, deal 7 to it instead. When it dies this turn, channel 1 rune exhausted. That's pretty solid. Dealing 7 to something is pretty insane. You can also have Mel in this deck to stop this from being defied or something like that, but this is also counterable. So like a lot of spells are counterable because purple has counters that don't care about cost, but when you're going against other green decks, it's kind of an issue. And then there's also decks where you can just stop damage from going through it all. So this is Eye of Twilight. Action, give a friendly unit tank this turn. It must be assigned combat damage first. This is pretty good because it has the action thing, so you can do it while you're in combat. And like I was saying, I keep talking about the key card that gives you 7 damage that you can take. So you give a tank, and then all 14 or whatever damage has to go to like 1 character. That is pretty strong. Then here is his. People don't like this one. I think it's gonna be pretty cool, especially when we see the full version of it with the foiling and texture stuff going on to it. But again, people are like, it's pits. Everybody's focused on pits in this set. And that's it for the legends. Let's go on to the special cards. So there were no tokens or battlefields in this one that they showcased. So probably to Monday, this upcoming week, they'll have all that stuff in. We did get a couple of more of the Crystal Rose cards, and we saw some of the connected cards, which will go over here. So right now we have Purple Ez here. He is the champion unit, Ezreal Prodigy. This is the epic one that was harder to get. So right now he's still doing pretty good, especially with these upcoming purple decks. He's going to be pretty solid. We're discarding 1 and drawing 2. But yeah, he's one of them. Good card. We knew he was coming in. And we think the next 2 are going to be girls. Well, we know the next one is Lux here. And there's one more who's going to be red. And I believe that's still going to be Kaisa. They haven't shown it yet. We'll probably see it soon. This is how Lux does her special. Then we have the 2 connected units for Gangplank and Ilaoi. I don't know how you say it. But here it is, the connected art. I went ahead and slid these together in Photoshop. So it looks pretty solid, looks pretty good. And then we have another one here with Rengar and Kha'Zix, the connected art, looking pretty solid. And then on the website, they also have the 2 for Vi and Jinx, and then Victor and Jace as well on there. So those are the 2 cards here, and that's all of the special arts. But let me know if you saw anything that stuck out to you that you thought was amazing or not in the comments. I think this set looks pretty fun. There's like a lot of, every time I see something like, ooh, I want to play that, ooh, I want to play that, but I really need to just focus down and go into like one color or whatever. If I want to kind of be good at this game and do and challenge like top level stuff, I need to get good at like one thing and know that and just get more reps in. And I say that's the same for you too. If you want to go into the top of this game, like it's not really difficult, but it's just really knowing your deck, knowing what you wanted to do, putting it together to do what you wanted to do, and then getting practice in it so you can know all the lines and stuff that you can take with it versus other decks, because knowing how you can tackle other decks' weaknesses is going to be the key to making your deck strong, even if people think that your deck isn't strong. It's all about knowing what the weaknesses of other decks are and being prepared to face that or make sure they're at a terrible spot because they rely so much on their trump card or their strong card, and you took care of it and kind of ruined their whole plan. So that's really the goal. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe for more, and peace.